57 minus 7 equal to 50. This is a math every strategist could calculate on the grid, except McLaren. And this silly math mistake has led to us having a three-way championship fight going into Abu Dhabi. Oh my god, this has to be a phenomenal bottle job by McLaren if they actually end up losing the drivers' championship to Max Verstappen. For all of Max's heroics, he had no business being this close at this stage of the championship. He was 104 points behind at the end of Zandvoort. And now he's just 12 points behind the leader going into Abu Dhabi. And he's actually ahead of Oscar Piastri, who's sitting in P3. So there's no reason for this to happen, but it has happened. And for all the credit that Max gets for pulling this off, one must not forget the litany of errors and own goals that McLaren has scored this season, whether it be the math miscalculation or taking a risk on the plankware when you could wrap up the championship, or all the Papaya Rules where they try too hard to be fair, which again happened right here in Qatar, isn't it, Aniket? Where they tried so hard to be fair that
Yeah.
they thought, oh, if they double stack the drivers, Lando will fall behind. Man, you have a rocket under you. We saw how fast the McLaren was, how they were pulling away from Max even after they pitted late. When they didn't pit, right? After the safety car. So McLaren has a rocket ship of a car, but they're simply not using it. And this is why Max keeps saying that if he had this car, he would have run away with the championship, right? And we really saw this in 2023. And not just Max, and take any top driver, Lewis Hamilton in 2020. The W11 was an absolute beast. And sure, Hamilton maybe had a slow start for the first couple of races, but then he absolutely ran away with the championship that season, right? Nobody had a
Mm.
chance to compete with him. The domination that Lewis Hamilton showed, or Michael Schumacher back in 2004 and 2002, or Sebastian Vettel in, what was that, 2011, I think, where he had an
2011.
absolutely dominant season. McLaren, I mean, sure, they have two number one drivers, but with the form Lando was
Yeah.
on, there was no reason for Lando Norris to have not won the championship. The sensible take going into Las Vegas, despite all the T Max memes that we crack on this podcast, the sensible take was that Lando will wrap it up, right? Especially after FP1, sorry, I mean going to Qatar, not Vegas. The sensible take was that Lando would wrap it up, or at the worst have like maybe 9 fingers on the championship trophy. Maybe you compete to Oscar. Sure, you lose some points, but Oscar is still two way behind, and you basically are almost certain going into the season finale, because that's how strong the McLaren was. Oscar was really running away, and even Lando was. They were so much faster than every other car. Max Verstappen said in a media briefing after qualifying or after the sprint, I don't remember, but he said that the Red Bull would have to cut a corner to keep up with the pace of the McLaren. That's how fast the McLaren was. So, Aniket, man, top 10 bottle job.
Yeah, you actually given out everything, right? So this is the same team that wrapped up the constructors championship what about 8 weeks back now,
Yeah.
and here they are taking the championship all the way to the last race when it's absolutely not needed, and they're kind of on the back foot now with two drivers still in the championship. But now they still, if they're still playing by the papaya rules, then you're going to be a situation where there are going to be a lot of combinations in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, where you have to ask a certain driver to pull over in case Verstappen is in a more favorable position to win the championship. So even after playing fair for all these 23 races, now you've come to a point where you will have to ask someone to move over in case you need a little favor to win the championship. So all that papaya rules will come for nothing. So this is the McLaren's own bottle job, as you say. This is their own screw up. This Qatar GP was a simple two-stop race. The safety car comes in, just pit, get out, 25 laps, pit again. That's it, done. Championship wrapped up. But no, they wanted flexibility, as they said, which I have no idea what the flexibility was, where it came in. I have no idea. I'm still trying to figure out what flexibility they were mentioning. But it's a definite screw up, right? And they've done it countless number of times now in these last what half a dozen races, and it's costing them valuable points, and ultimately it's led to a situation where they could actually lose the drivers championship, and it may very well come down to team rules or team orders in Abu Dhabi to allow one of their drivers to win the championship.
Yeah, the fact that you even have to discuss this, right? Like if Oscar is ahead of Lando and Max is leading the race, then you'll have to force Oscar to give way so that his teammate can win the championship. Now, that itself is like no competitor would want to do that, right? I mean, even the Oscar cannot win a championship. Sure, maybe he will move aside because, like he said before,
Yeah,
he wants to have a good relationship with the McLaren team going into the future. But man, that is such a weird thing to ask of a driver, right? Like, you're not asking, hey, defend Max Verstappen so that Lando wins the championship, like how Perez did in 2021 when he held up Lewis for a few laps, right? It's nothing like that. You're literally telling them to have a worse finish in a race, right? You're telling an F1 driver, a competitive F1 driver, the possibility of telling them to have a worse finish so that your other driver wins the championship, right? So yeah, man, it's just unbelievable. Like, and I know on this spot, like for example, we praised McLaren. Where was that? Hungary, when the paddock split strategies, right? They took a chance because Lando had a poor start. He fell back to what, P4 or P5 in that race. So they took a chance to do a one stopper with him so that to have some chance of winning the race, and that paid out, right? And Lando Norris won the race. And sure, there are all these Oscar Piastri fanboys complaining that he's being fair and all that, which I think it's crap because it was very clearly a risk, and Lando wanted to take that risk, and we appreciated that at that point. But now in Qatar, like sure, if your worry is double stacking, but come on, how much will you lose double stacking, right? Like Max Verstappen, who was behind both of you, right? So Lando was like what 4 5 seconds behind Oscar, and Max was another 4 5 seconds behind
yeah,
Lando at that point, and he pit and came out ahead of all the other 17 drivers. So if McLaren double stack, maybe Lando would have at worst been P5 or P6, which is still fine from the championship perspective because Oscar is winning the race. So you have covered off 7 points that Max can gain on you, right? And you have better flexibility going into Abu Dhabi. But it is just insane that you wouldn't take that tiniest of risk to do that, to preserve your championship and preserve your flexibility. I will say it again, going into Abu Dhabi. Like, and also that McLaren was much faster than any other car on track, right? I mean, come on. You think, Aniket, that Lando Norris would not be able to overtake Fernando Alonso on that track?
yeah. I mean, you just have to keep asking more and more questions and try to understand what McLaren were actually thinking, trying to not pit under the safety car. I mean, you see 17 cars, what's that, 18 cars dived on the pit lane,
Yeah.
and sorry, it was 17 because Ocon also did not pit.
Yeah, Ocon did
So
not pit.
17 cars died on the pit lane, including your championship contender. So why you had to play it safe at that point, right? You had to follow what the others did, or even get them a lap. Get them a lap later into the pits and get it done, because you can still come out in the safety car situation, still be behind your car. I mean, the cars in front of you in case you fell behind, and still get the job done in terms of the overtakes on track because they have such a fast car.
I think the
But
next
then
lap
you're
was too late, Aniket. They would have fallen behind the entire pack because the pack had bunched up at that point.
yeah, okay. Worst case, I'm saying worst case is
Yeah, but I
that's
mean,
what
no,
they could have
but
done, but instead they gave up 25 seconds to Max Verstappen by
yeah,
not pitting,
exactly, right. And the thing was, like,
and they were not that fast as well. They could make up 25 seconds
yeah,
over Verstappen. I mean, this is not the Red Bull from the second or third race of the season, right? This is the
right.
Red Bull which is very well developed at this point, and that's the reason why Verstappen is fighting for the championship. It's not just the driver alone, right? It's the car
Yeah,
as well.
it's
The
obviously
car
the
is
car
very good.
depends. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and also after the second round of pits, after McLaren pit, when they pit Oscar early, right? They pit him after like 10 laps or something. to give him the hard tires, to give him a chance to catch Verstappen. And then GP was just continuously telling him the delta, and Max always kept pulling pace out, so that he still maintained like what 10 or 15 second gap over Oscar till the end. I think only towards the end, maybe the last 2 or 3 laps, Max started to lose pace, but otherwise, and that we know why the Red Bull just keeps their I mean, they had much fresher tires at well the McLaren,
Yeah.
because the Red Bull had put on lap 32. But I mean, it was not such a hard thing, right? I mean, like Hannah Schmidt said it in the post race interview that there's a safety car situation lined up. That if a safety car comes in lap 7, you pit because you save 10 seconds or 15 seconds under the safety car, and that's a no brainer to pit. How did McLaren not have this simulated out, right? Like you're really worried about holding up Lando for an extra what 2 or 3 seconds, and
Exactly. Yeah.
you decided to lose 15-20 seconds over there, right? Like just and then Will Joseph talks about flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not
I
surprising
mean, I
why.
feel bad for the McLaren engineers who've done such a wonderful job
Yeah,
developing the car and everything else, and now these people in the front are screwing up the strategy and whatnot. So they build a machine. They build an incredible car, but it's not a car which deserves to go to the last race fighting for the drivers' championship. It should have been wrapped up quite a few number of races back, and this should have been a pleasant, stressful-free experience for the entire McLaren team at this point.
yeah, exactly. Like it begs the question, right? If they're not taking the silly plank risks and Las Vegas, they're probably wrapped up the championship in Qatar, and Lando Norris would be champion. They just threw
Mm.
away 25 points to the championship leader, right? To your contender over there, right?
Yeah,
And
and
allowed
they
him
threw
back in
away
the
more.
conversation.
Yeah, and this race they threw away a more number of points because now Lando needs to be absolutely, confident in the last race of the season. And the thing with Lando is we know he can crack under pressure, like we've seen in the last few races. So now Abu Dhabi is an ask, or is it like a task for Lando, right? He's got to keep it cool. He's got to make sure he finishes in that podium positions. I mean, who knows? It might be a little. Things might change, right? You never know. Abu Dhabi, we have all seen things happen.
Just need to
We've
remind
seen
the viewers of 2012, right?
we've 2012. We've seen what happened, right? Vettel was going into the race. I think P3 in the
Yeah.
driver standings at that time, and then Alonso had a comfortable lead of 12 or 15 points or something. But he ended up finishing P6, P7, while Vettel ended up winning the race.
Yeah.
So we've seen crazier things happen. So
Yeah.
Verstappen winning the championship is not at
Hmm.
all out of the question.
Yeah. So basically, what
And
happened was before, no, yeah, Alonso came second in that race. He finished behind Jenson Button, and Vettel finished P6. But yeah,
no, which race are you talking about?
2012, Brazil.
Oh, you're talking about Brazil. Okay, okay. I was
Yeah, yeah.
talking about the Abu Dhabi race from 2010.
Oh, that one. Okay, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because we are referencing Abu Dhabi, so I thought we'll just go back to 2010 when Alonso could have won the championship, but
Right, right, right.
instead he got held up by Vitaly Petrov at
Yes,
that time.
yes. I remember. I think
Yeah,
before that race, yeah, Alonso was leading, right? Alonso was leading by, I think, what, 15 points or something?
15 points. Yes.
Yeah,
So
because
imagine.
Vettel won the championship by 4 points, but he won the last race, and Alonso was a lowly seventh. So he just got
Yeah.
six. So it was like a 19. Yeah, 15 point. He was 15 points ahead, and he finished 4 points behind because he lost 19 points in a race. And I think the Ferrari was a good car this season.
I mean, I would say it was more evenly distributed back then. But
Hmm.
Alonso had no business finishing P7.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
car was not meant for a P7.
right.
So that's what I'm saying. Crazy things have happened, right? I mean, like how we saw in Qatar as well. Lando goes over a curb, he loses he has some damage, he's got some performance issues.
Yeah,
Abu Dhabi, he crumbles under pressure, gets a bad start, and he's not the best at starts as well. So
right.
now this is the first time he's going to be in a pressure situation in his entire Formula One career. So all eyes are going to be on him. I mean,
And
Oscar has nothing to lose. Max has
Oscar,
nothing to lose.
Max has nothing to
So
lose. Max has been in this situation 4 times before, right? He's a
yes,
four-time
yeah,
champion.
yeah.
He's like he's cool as cucumber.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
whatever happens, he's going for it in the first corner, whoever he
yeah,
is behind.
yeah.
So either he crashes or either he, just moves position. That's why his Max crash happened. So that's what happens with him.
And I mean, I know I did talk about the McLaren being a fast car, but we also seen that other cars are also catching up, right? The Red Bull has obviously caught up in a big way
Yeah.
to the McLaren.
No,
Like we saw in Qatar, right? They were matching the McLarens for pace at the end before the tires fell off a cliff. So yeah, McLaren also yeah also Mercedes doing well, right? Um, and they should have been higher in this race if not for I think Russell had some car issues and all of that, so they were kind of trying to cool off and kind of maintain their tires or whatever. I don't exactly know what issue, but both drivers were complaining about issues. Kimi also, his car really
Russell
fell
was
off.
probably just stuck in traffic. That's what happened. He was in the same laps in free air in
Hmm.
with comparison to the leaders, but unfortunately
Yeah,
he got they double stacked and he had to come out
right.
in traffic.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the reason why he finished a lowly sixth or seventh.
No, I think yeah, yeah. He was sixth, I think.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah, he was
sixth. Yeah,
six. He was six behind
yeah.
Kimi. So yeah, you have other teams. Yeah, my point is you have other teams in the fray now, right? It's not just McLaren and Red Bull. You have Mercedes, and that's it. I'll not say Ferrari, but
No, no, please don't you dare say Ferrari. I mean, you could probably say Racing Bulls or Williams, but not Ferrari.
yeah, yeah, Williams. Yes, Williams, definitely Williams, man.
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz. We had a smooth operation. But
Yes.
so yeah, that's the thing, right? McLaren, even though they do have the fastest car, and maybe for all, I mean, maybe we'll end up seeing a very boring race on Sunday where they finish a 1-2 and wrap the championship up, which they should given their car. But again, you never know, right? Stranger things have happened in Formula One before, right? Any really anything can happen. So McLaren will really really rue what they've done this weekend. But Aniket, as we talked about Mercedes, do want to ask you, the online fandom has really gone mental
Yeah.
over Kimi Antonelli. Um, so okay, I'll say two things. I mean, obviously, I put some blame at Red Bull for GP and Helmut Marko saying what they said without having entire information. That is not right at all. Maybe they would argue it was in a radio, but again, radios are public. But I would also blame the FIA TV direction, man. The F1 TV commentators. What is Alex Jacks and David Coulthard openly saying on media? You're the official commentator of the sport, and you are openly saying that Kimi Antonelli has led Lando Norris past because Mercedes, their engine supplier, does not want a Red Bull driver to win the championship. What kind of bollocks is that?
I mean, Mercedes themselves are fighting for P2 in the World Constructors Championship.
Yeah,
So there is no business in hell that they're going to allow
yeah,
McLaren through. And Kimi Antonelli himself is fighting for a podium spot, right?
yeah.
You know, there's no. I mean, it doesn't make sense for either situations to happen in terms of Kimi letting him through
Hmm.
for, reasons like, oh, because McLaren is using Mercedes engines, so why not? I just want to let him through. So it's absolute BS, as Toto Wolff
Yeah,
said.
Jacques was instincting Toto gave directions to Kimi. What nonsense, man? Like seriously.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Red Bull's engineers as well as Helmut Marko
Helmut
took
Marko, man. Why is
took
he still in the
offense to.
sport? Why is he
Yeah,
still in the
Helmut
sport?
Marko probably should just move out from
Yeah,
whatever he's doing at Red Bull. Probably he's just a PR maniac who doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut.
yeah.
So
I totally
it's not.
agree. I totally agree with that. Helmut Marko is
Yeah,
a nutcase.
gives
Remember the crap
all
he
the.
pulled on Lewis a few years ago
Yeah,
as well? Just absolutely despicable.
he's probably in the wrong 100 out of 101 times or 99 out of 100 times. So it's crazy that he always gets it wrong, and especially this one where it's a rookie who did an unfortunate mistake and that led Lando Norris through. So why not wait till you actually see the replays and then make a comment? Because then you'll at least get to the situation or get to the full clarity of the situation. But here you are You make some comments before you see even anything, and then now the team is forced to make an apology to Kimi Antonelli and the entire Mercedes team on their comments. And this is the second time this happened in the last number of years. This happened with Lewis as well, when Lewis was getting racist abuse because of what Red Bull were doing.
Mm.
So I guess we should just call this a new normal, wherein Red Bull are going to say some shitty things about certain drivers and then just apologize later, saying they were at fault. So
Yeah, and
it's it's
the
it's it's an organization which is
mm,
not run at the highest level apart from their performances on track, but off track definitely needs a lot of I would say coaching in terms of how they are run, because they just are coming out with these ridiculous comments and then apologizing for the same, which is a disgrace to certain drivers in terms of how they
mm,
perform on track, how they live F1, how they bleed for F1, but then you're
yeah.
getting accused of something which you never did.
No, totally. No, I agree with you, Aniket. And it's also regrettable how long it took Helmut Marko to apologize, right?
Yeah,
Like, sure, GP, I'm not condoning GP's comments either. GP said on the radio, whatever he said, that, hey, maybe Kimi let Lando pass or whatever, he said scrap. I also partly blame the TV direction because they did not show Kimi going off till much later. But immediately after the race, when they actually saw what happened, GP immediately, apologized over the radio and said, or to the media, I forget where he apologized, either to media or over the radio, and said that, it was not an intentional mistake, by Kimi to let Lando pass. But Marco's comments were after the race when everybody knew what happened, right? And he doubled down on those comments. So that's what just blows my mind. Like, I know Red Bull is probably tolerating Marco like how they're tolerating Honor, right? Because he's close to certain people in the organization. So, they're kind of just tolerating him and keeping him there. But yeah, Red Bull really has to, take a decision at some point.
hmm.
How long they want to keep this going, right? We saw this with Lewis Hamilton, where he's, insulting the one of the most decorated drivers of the sport with very,
Yeah,
very despicable comments. And now he is insinuating that, Kimi Antonelli willfully let Lando Norris pass. No competitive F1 driver will let another driver pass, right? We're talking about Oscar Piastri not letting his teammate pass. Why would
yeah.
Kimi Antonelli let Lando Norris
Wait,
pass?
wait. Let me make an exception. Unless you're a V carb driver or Fernando Alonso, who will willfully let Max Verstappen through at any time, other drivers don't get a free pass. Only the three employed contractors to Red Bull team, apart from Verstappen, will get a free pass.
Well, Fernando also actually helped McLaren this weekend by holding up the entire grid in that stupid train. Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, it just really, really very regrettable comments from Helmut Marko, man. To especially, double down after the race when you knew what happened, right? You have replays, you have everything, and still to make those comments, um, yeah, it's just a fundamental disgrace, I would say, from Helmut Marko. I mean, know that we're known for a while that he's what kind of a person he is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, man, it's just really, really horrible. And yeah, I mean, even more horrible is the amount of abuse Kimi Antonelli got, to the point that he thanked the fans for support in a comment, change his profile, and then change his profile picture to black. Right?
Black. Yeah.
So yeah, I really feel bad. He's just a young lad, 19 years of age, rookie season. I mean, he's fast. He's clearly shown he is talented, right? One of the best rookie seasons in a long time. Probably the best rookie season after Lewis Hamilton in the in recent memory, right?
I
Obviously,
agree.
nothing beats Lewis Hamilton. He almost won the freaking
Yeah.
title. But yeah, okay. So Aniket, before we end, I do want to call out the Williams driver of Carlos Sainz, man. What a drive! I mean, sure, things maybe fell a little his way, but again, that's F1. You take advantage of the chips that fall in your favor, unlike McLaren. And um, Carlos Sainz, what a drive, right? I mean, if you look at the Williams season, Aniket, it's been such a tale of two halves, right? The first half we had Alex Albon absolutely killing it, and Carlos Sainz couldn't even find the brake pedal, right? And then the second season, the second half of the season is completely turned around. If you just look at the results, the first half till Monaco, Albon was 5-7-9, 12-9, 5-5-9, and Carlos Sainz was 10-14, 8-9, 8-10. Not really
Yeah, yeah.
kind
Not
of
really
behind.
lighting the world on fire or
Yeah,
even
and
coming
then
close to beating his teammate.
yeah, and then even after that, actually, Albon, even though three retirements, he still had four more points finishes, 8, 6, 5, and 7 till Monza, and Carlos Sainz had just one. He had a 10th place in Canada. But then after that, after Monza, Aniket, Carlos Sainz has had 4 points finishes, in which two of them with third place finishes on the podium. One was a fifth place in Las Vegas. He was also third in the Austin sprint. And meanwhile, Alex Albon, all he has had is a sixth place in the Austin sprint, but no points finish in the main race at all. And we might see Carlos Sainz overtake him in the last race because he's just 9 points behind. So, what's your take, Aniket? Are we going to see a smooth operation revival at Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, I mean, Carlos Sainz seems to have found his brake pedal, right?
Yeah,
Finally.
finally.
So, why- who knew that Carlos Sainz would have more podiums than Lewis Hamilton?
I
I mean,
didn't
who
want
would
to
have
say it.
predicted?
You said it.
I know, I have to say it, man. Come on. Who would have predicted that, right?
Yeah.
Like, this shows how Williams have progressed and how far Ferrari have fallen in the second half of the season. So, I think Sainz has done a brilliant job, especially in these last few races. I think his last podium was Baku before this and a podium here. He's getting to grips with that car, and now they're going into a 2026 rules change with all the confidence, regardless of wherever they finish in the next race.
And Sainz is a
They're gonna,
great technical driver. He will give bundles of technical
yeah,
advice to the team.
and they're gonna have good engines next season. Mercedes engines are gonna be probably the strongest engines. I mean, based on what we are hearing.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's going upwards for Williams, right? After finally after so many years of being in the down, with James Falls as their team principal, they've got two good drivers at the helm now and a very good team principal. So this is going upwards now, and who knows, man? We've not seen Williams compete for a title in so long. It's been like 22 odd years since they've ever competed for a title. So maybe it's their time in this next set of rules and regulations, right? Maybe they actually can compete for title because McLaren have got their say now in these past few years. Maybe it's time for another team like Williams to come up the ranks again to relieve some of their lost glory.
Yeah, that's well said. Williams obviously have a very capable team, like said James Vowles. He was a chief strategist at
Slowly
Mercedes,
rising
right?
to the ranks of probably the best team principal
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
sport at this point.
What is he? Chief strategist or chief engineer at Mercedes before he left? I
Yeah,
forget. Strategy director at Mercedes. Yeah. Obviously, very very technical, focused person, and we've also seen he's great with the media, so he's a well-rounded, person. Unlike maybe say Adrian Newey, who just absolutely hates talking to anybody at all. But yeah, James Watts is really taking their team to greater heights, and yeah, the last time they won a championship was 28 years ago in 1997 when Jacques Villeneuve won the championship, the drivers' championship, and yeah, they also won the constructors'
constructor.
championship. And
Yeah. And the last time they competed for a championship was in 2003, as far as I remember, when Juan Pablo Montoya was in the top three in the World
yes,
Drivers
yes,
Championship, and Williams was in second place in the Constructors
and they had
Championship. So,
BMW engines. Remember,
yes, exactly. So, it's been a long, long time. They
long
did have a
time.
few couple of good seasons with Felipe Massa and Valtteri Bottas
Mm,
between 2016 to 2018, I think, but then again fell off.
yeah. And of course, 97 is the season where in the finale, um, Schumacher was, the Max Verstappen of that era. He was he was what 1 point ahead of Jacques Villeneuve going into the final race, and he basically had a head loss like Max Verstappen had in Barcelona this year,
Yeah.
and he just rammed into uh, Villeneuve. That really didn't affect his race. Schumacher ended up retiring. Villeneuve finished third and he won the championship. And Schumacher's anyway disqualified, so that wouldn't matter even
Yeah,
if.
he got disqualified. He finished last in the championship.
Yes.
Basically, out of the championship.
Yeah, he was disqualified from the championship, not just from the race. So even
Yeah.
if Villeneuve retired, he was still winning the championship because Schumacher got disqualified. So yeah.
So, but were his race wins also taken off in that
No, he was
case?
just taken off from the championship. So he
Oh,
keeps
okay.
his race wins. He won
Okay.
Monaco, Canada, France, Belgium, and Japan. He won 5 races. He kept those. He was just disqualified from the championship. So yeah. All right. So that was a wild weekend at Qatar.
Yeah, Ferrari P8, P12. Let's not forget that.
I don't recognize that team anymore. How could you be worse than 2020, man? Just absolutely despicable. Absolutely. I have no words really. I'm at a loss for the English thesaurus right now, with the way Ferrari is performing. But yeah, let's do a prediction review, shall we? Quickly. So this weekend, obviously, Qatar had a sprint and the main race. And for viewers who are keeping track, Aniket has had an excellent weekend again, as you will see soon. So starting with the sprint, pole position, I said Oscar, and Aniket, you said Max. So I get the point, which turns out is the only point for the sprint because then you just took it away. Yeah, so P3, P2, P1, both of us got wrong, right? We completely jumbled up the
Yeah.
order. But rookie of the race, you went for Kimi Antonelli, so you get the point there. I went for Isack Hadjar. Poor lad, I think didn't even finish in the points.
Yeah, but he got rewarded with a Red Bull seat for next year
Yes, we'll come
by
to that
not
very
finishing in
soon.
the points.
Yes. And then for the bust of the race, I said no Aston Martin in the points. Of course, Fernando Alonso had to come 7th. You said Isack Hadjar not in the points, and Isack Hadjar fulfilled your wish and came P9. Excellent. And then hot take, I said Kimi Antonelli podium. That didn't happen. You said Lewis Hamilton top 5. That unfortunately also did not happen because Lewis Hamilton was P17 in the sprint. And big surprise was I went for Nico Hulkenberg getting into SQ3. That also did not happen. He was, I think, out in SQ1 itself. But you said Oscar Piastri will win, and you hedged your bets nicely because Oscar Piastri ran away with the sprint.
Yeah.
That was an excellent prediction. So you won the sprint predictions 3-1. But the main race was bad for both of us because you got P1, Max Verstappen. Everything else, pole position, P3, P2, none of us got points at all. And then rookie, I said Kimi, so I got the point. You went for Liam Lawson. Very good. You got nothing
Where
there.
did he finish?
Huh?
Did he even finish the race?
Yes. No, he did finish, I think. Liam Lawson. Yeah, he did finish. He was 9th, dude.
Oh, I just messed up then.
Yeah, he is 9th and Yuki
He was
Tsunoda was
9th,
10th.
but based on okay, fine. I mean, Liam Lawson's. I mean, you have to go to Kimi, man, because that car is also much better than the
Yeah.
car.
And Kimi was
And
better. He
Kimi
was
has
on
been-
course of 4th. He had a very
Yeah,
good
yeah.
race. He was ahead of his teammate. So I think that's what would put him ahead,
Yeah.
right? Out of, I mean, not out qualifying, but finishing
Out-
ahead of your teammate.
Yeah.
That's as a rookie, with a teammate like George Russell, I would say that's a big achievement. So it's clearly drove the car better. Yeah, apart from that, a bust. I said no Williams in the points. Carlos Sainz gets a podium. You said no Aston Martin in the points, and Fernando Alonso again gets P7. Yeah, hot take. I said Pierre Gasly in the points. He retired, or well, finished last. Not retired, but he finished P16. He didn't win. He was 1 lap behind the leaders, and then your hot take was Ferrari outscores Mercedes. That was a hot take. I'll give you that. Because Ferrari scored just 4 points. With Charles Leclerc in 8. My big surprise, Lewis Hamilton in the podium. I was really trying to save his season. But unfortunately, Ferrari had other
Man, I don't know
ideas.
whether to laugh or cry, man,
I don't know,
at this
man.
point. or be delusional.
Yeah. You
And
said
say
no
Lewis
retirements and
Hamilton
4 drivers retired.
will win the first race of the next season.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah, that's everything. And of course, Red Bull announced the driver lineup. Yuki Tsunoda is out. You have Isack Hadjar partnering with Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. And you have Arvid Lindblad making the jump from F2 to F1 to partner with Liam Lawson. Quick thoughts, Aniket, before we wrap up.
How long is Isack Hadjar going to be in that seat?
I gave him 1 season.
You're going to say an entire season he's going to be there?
Yeah, I think they will not want to repeat what they did with Liam Lawson.
Okay.
And I think because it's a new car, I think the first half will probably not be very pointy, and then Max will just demand it to be pointy to suit his driving style. And that team is basically the Verstappen racing team. So
Yeah.
second half they'll make it very pointy. Hadjar will lose his performance.
And they get replaced by somebody else, and the cycle
Liam Lawson.
continues. Liam Lawson.
He's
or
right
Lindblad.
there.
Or Lindblad gets a call straight away.
Oh my god, it'll be way too early for Lindblad if that happens. But obviously, Lindblad, I mean, he's a fast driver. He has raw pace, but he's very
Yeah.
inconsistent in F2. So,
But Hadjar should do a good job, I feel, at least like better
yeah,
than Tsunoda in terms of
hopefully.
getting results and everything.
I think
So
Hadjar also has more promise than Tsunoda, even through the F2.
he does.
Hadjar
He does.
was a very
Yeah.
good driver in F2. I think Tsunoda was more that he was a Honda sponsor. Not saying he's a bad
Yeah.
driver, but he just that. I think Hadjar will do better, I guess. But we'll see,
Yeah.
man. That Red Bull second seat is a curse. You never know.
It's a curse. It's a curse. And
Uh,
Tsunoda is relegated to being a reserve driver now.
Yeah, unless
So
Hadjar likes a pointy car, I'm not sure how we can drive that Red Bull.
yeah, man, nobody's got it right up till now. I mean,
Yeah,
apart from Daniel Ricciardo and Max
yeah, but
Verstappen.
Ricardo liked pointy cars, so
He did. He did. Yeah. I wish he
so
just stayed longer, man. That's a conversation for a different day. But I wish he'd stayed longer in Red Bull and fought alongside Verstappen.
yes,
So
I
who
think
knows how that would have gone?
yeah, and he could have fought beside Verstappen because he was still a fast
Yeah.
driver then. He just I think
Yeah.
ruined his career by trying.
Joining Renault.
And like I get his logic that he didn't want to be in
Yeah.
Verstappen's shadow, but come on, if you were performing well, I don't think Red Bull would have continued to um, push Verstappen, right? Like you show results. Red Bull is a result-oriented team, right? They prioritize a driver that shows results, and yeah, always it's. I think it's the biggest what if in recent memory for Daniel Ricciardo's career.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's unfortunate. Anyways, all right, everyone. We hit. We have a 3-way championship fight at Abu Dhabi. We'll be right here on Pod in the Apex
Yep.
with all the exciting coverage. We'll have a preview coming up very soon with the predictions and what to
With the
expect.
final predictions of the
Final
season.
predictions.
And
Yes.
it's gonna be a classic because we're gonna see which of us is gonna get that championship. We're gonna have one championship prediction as well. I guess that'll probably give us an extra bonus point. Probably we can think about it and see what to do.
Yeah. Yes.
And
Yes. We'll do that.
yep, let's see how it goes. And also it's gonna be a crazy prediction in terms of trying to actually predict the podium positions as well this time around because there's so much of pressure as to who's gonna get it.
Yep.
So there's pressure on us as well. There's pressure on the drivers as well.
Yeah.
So let's stay tuned to this video or the next video because it's gonna be crazy.
Yes, absolutely. Stay tuned to Pod in the Apex. Subscribe to us. Get your friends subscribed. It's going to be an action-packed photo finish end to the season. So don't miss it. And we'll be right here with all the coverage right here on Pod in the Apex. So we'll take your leave. Bye-bye.